Fuck it!
Hello and welcome back to Quantum Chat.
Yep, Quantum Chat again. This time,
Woo!
thanks for dropping me there. You know.
You're welcome.
This time we've got an interesting one. I'd say. Basically, tournaments, they have tournament lists, and that's fair. Can't have every stage in the tournament because that one asshole who chooses Great Game
Offensive.
Yeah, is getting slapped. You know.
Ding!
Sometimes the tournament list can seem somewhat limited, or you want something fresh. So we're deciding to discuss stages that we'd like to see maybe in tournament lists that are a bit more dynamic and will bring some variation, but that aren't in tournament lists. And you know, maybe in the comments you'll be like, oh well, there's reasons in on the tournament list because of this and that. But
and I'm not going to deny there are reasons, because some of the ones in my mind I can already say, yeah, I know why, but a lot of it I would still like.
Yeah, like some of these do have problems, but I mean, you know, you could argue that there's certain problems with some of the stages they already have, and we'll get to them. Anyway,
Final Destination has a problem being too bland.
Okay. So Scott, why don't you start with your first idea? Haha!
Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yes, I can say that Pokemon Stadium 2 would be cool. Why do you want it though? Why?
I mean, dynamic, different effects to the environment make some really interesting stages. I would argue, and I know you agree with this, the conveyor belts.
The conveyor belts are kind of annoying when it comes to ledge gab, but I mean, I'm sure players could find a way to make that not look doofy. You can jump onto them and roll and stuff. And but like certain types of get-ups are kind of neutralised on them. But I guess that makes that quite a dangerous part of the stage where you don't want to have to use the ledge. And add a new level of defensive play in that mode.
And then, you know, you have the different variations of things like the ice and the wind, which allow for increased amount of aerial combat in the air for the wind one, also resulting in being lighter and being able to go into the air. For people like Sonic who already travel a long distance, the ice can be brutal.
Of course, Scott's going to support them.
For anyone who doesn't know, my favourite character in the whole game is Sonic.
Yeah, he's a decent. He's quite fun.
Fuck you.
Beat my ass. The point is that yeah, and also Melee actually, Pokemon Stadium 1 in Melee, which was less dynamic, but had the similar sort of feel, was, I think, and still is, a stage that you're allowed to use.
Oh yeah, the original Pokemon Stadium didn't have any kind of massive changes.
But it did have things that could definitely change the matchup, and it had this one, unlike the ground and rock-based one, it had this pit, and the number of like pit balls that I've seen in there, also ledge battles was the same thing.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Well, I know I've seen some of like the douchiest things, like there was, I don't know if it was an infinite, or if he was just very lucky with his string, or the other guy just couldn't get out. I remember a Captain Falcon in the pit brawl just infinitely throwing them against the wall and grabbing them.
Oh yeah, a worse one is when Pikachu gets its jab off against that wall. I've seen people go through
That sounds
300% stuck on that wall.
I mean, literally, I watched the Captain Falcon player. At one point, the other player just left. He knew he'd lost because it was like 500, so he just left. And he just continued doing it for a while before he threw him away.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Well, you got to be careful. Don't go in the pits in there. But yeah, like, so I could definitely see, and I think it would be interesting to see the occasional Pokemon thing.
Yeah.
I'd say my first one. These aren't in any particular order, but I actually wouldn't mind seeing Windy Hilda. The reason for that is, yes, it's not like it's got different varying layers. It's got some platforms for comboing. The only problem I have with it is that windmill's cool, but it gets very, very close to the edge. It could lead to some kind of BS early kills. But then again, I mean,
it's not so much that, it's more the spring on the side.
Yeah, but the thing is, the springs, they're very easy to recover past, and they limit recovery options, but not so much that you're automatically going to, you know, get, like...
No, but what I mean is it can be things of, it looks like it goes both ways, but it can be really annoying in the fact that sometimes you can land on the top and for some reason you'll just go like this. You'll go through and it'll bounce you off the bottom part, which is weird.
Well, then just don't use the springs.
It is a good point.
Avoid them like a hazard. And you know, like I think you could do something like the windmill could be used in an interest. Oh, God damn it! The windmill could be used in an interesting way, and you know, you could incorporate it into combos, into kills, and I think it would just be a nice kind of change to stage to see. It would be a good cap for projectile users maybe because of the weird gradient.
Yeah.
I just generally think it'd be a nice, interesting stage, and we've never seen anything like it before. I mean, there's always Gentleman's Rule, but that very, very rarely gets used in high level. Got any other Scotty boys?
Mario Galaxy.
Okay.
Just because I love the effect on the projectiles and stuff, it makes for interesting play.
I say it's a bit too big and a bit too open.
Maybe, but you know, it could have a lot of fun potential for it.
The main problem is, you know, it's one of those stages where the edge leads directly into the blast zone.
That's true.
And there's a reason that I think none of those stages are tournament legal, because there's something about it's just too easy to get these really early kills that aren't that interesting to see, and that are kind of like, it means that sometimes a lucky hit or just like an accidental input can actually lose your whole stock. More so than in regular Smash, because that can happen depending on what you're doing in any map. But there it's more likely, and I don't know, I guess there's got to be a reason we have no stages like that.
True.
But as it goes for stages that have the kind of no separation between the blast zone and the mat area and the floor, I mean, either that or Wii Fit Studio are probably your best bet.
True. Okay, you're Lexon.
I would like to see... This is probably like the most ridiculous. I'd like to see Woohoo Island, because Woohoo Island is great.
Woohoo Island is great, and there aren't really many problems with it.
You can get some cool drowns, you know...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is obviously different, but in the styles that you see, it's not much different from Delfino Plaza.
Yeah, like... It's a little more extreme than Delfino Plaza, and I don't know if Delfino Plaza is... I think that might be from an outdated rule set, but it was used at one point, and I mean, it's perfectly clear. Same was true of Castle Siege used to be used, but I think that's outdated now. And come on, I mean, Castle Siege is pretty dynamic at times.
Castle Siege is awesome.
Can you cut in that time that you were talking and died?
If I can find it, yes! Castle Siege is awesome. Instantly cuts to a clip of me screaming fuck.
Yeah, that was. Don't feel a bit too early anymore.
Even if I can't find it, I'm sure people can figure out what that looked like.
Yeah, all can recreate it. I've seen other people do it on things as well, so we can put a whole compilation of it.
That fucking sucked. I had that match.
Yeah, you probably did, but no.
I had that fucking match.
Don't get angry. But yeah, like it's just different sections of that are very good for different characters. Like, you know, it would be a nice stage for. It would be a good stage for timeouts, which some people are like, oh, timeouts are lame. But I mean, timeouts can be very interesting. There's one timeout I watched, Serienda, Mr. Eric. Best timeout match ever. Everyone watch that match, it's amazing. And so timeouts can be extremely interesting, and that stage can lend so well to timeouts and projectile play. But there's other times when projectile users and timeouts are hard, and it switches. So it's always something new, and it's always new ways of playing and thinking. Players got to be on their toes. They've got to be ready.
Yeah, it is interesting to see how you stay safe, if you get what I mean.
Like, you know that mode where it's the boat? That's going to benefit people like who up close and like a very little kind of gradient change, and maybe who, you know, can manipulate the water or can fight in this close waters. Whereas the open volcano bit, that's going to benefit people like Villager and Samus and stuff, people that might want to play keep away.
Yeah.
Jigglypuff especially, because it's like, okay, I'll just...
Whereas the boat, it's just like, Bowser time!
Yeah, the boat, I could see Ganondorf having fun with it. Oh, can you imagine... Wait, if you, we'll have to test that. If you Ganon fight in water, do you just, like, both start swimming, or do you, like, plow down through the water?
We'll test it after this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fine. You got any others?
Now then, I'm just having a quick look at the list over there. I'm just trying to think of any that I don't think of.
If you don't have any, you can hazard on a think of one, and I'll say another one of mine.
Okay, I'm actually going to say two, because there's two that come to mind.
Well, say one, then I'll say one, and you say one.
Let's go Mushroom Kingdom U, because it's more dynamic than the other one I was looking at.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it's a similar. It's a similar thing with Woohoo there, really. It's the only thing that I have against that is Nabbit. It's just twat, and Nabbit might be too much in the way.
Oh, I forgot about fucking Nabbit. We haven't played it in so long that I just forgot that guy existed.
It's just like, I mean, it could be fun to see someone throw someone into Nabbit or utilise him, but when Nabbit's like on the stage, which is almost all the time, it's going to become less about the match and more about avoid Nabbit, because he'll kill me.
Avoid Nabbit! Great game.
Oh, what's your other one? Because that one would need some more debating, just because of Nabbit being a bit twat.
Pilot Wings.
Okay. Yeah.
Pilot Wings is fairly flat, fairly simple.
Oh, how do the edges work on certain bits of Pilot Wings? Because I seem to remember in the past getting really pissed off not being able to grab an edge.
I'm not sure. I thought you were able to grab an edge. Let me have a look.
On the
I think it
main
might work a bit like the Halberd platform.
maybe, but I seem to remember on when you go onto the what's it called? When you use the biplane, I remember like kind of like. I seem to remember you could kind of camp on the lower wing of the biplane kind of safely. Like, almost too safely. But maybe that was just me being a lower level, or maybe that's my foggy memory. Also, I seem to remember there's something weird where, like, you could get hit by... When the plane's moving, you could get hit by bits of geometry in the background or something. Remember that?
No, that's not a thing. I'm literally just messing with it now.
Why?
Getting hit in the background's not a thing.
Well, no, but I mean, if you get, like, flung right near the corner, you can get hit by, I swear when you're, like, going through the arch, you can get hit. I swear. I seem to remember happening to you and you being like, what? And I'm like, Scott.
Okay, the biplane, you can only grab the bottom wing. That's the thing.
It just seems like it could be a bit campy, you know what I mean? Being on that bottom wing.
And you can come through, it works a lot like the platform on the Halberd, really.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that one I agree with more than Mushroom Kingdom U, but there's still some areas I'm a bit on. I'm almost certain you can get hit by like the arches on the side sometimes.
I'm just gonna try it out now. You can!
Yeah, I thought so. Which, to be honest, isn't so bad because that could lead to some fun kills, some important safe positioning, and it's very rare. And if you get hit by them, you're often dead or nearly dead anyway.
Yeah.
A bit earlier. So yeah. I think I'd accept that as an interesting one. We're not suggesting all of these getting like all of a sudden they just dump out a bunch of things.
Dump out a second list.
But these are all the stages that we're like, yeah, this I could happily accept that. I have maybe 3 or 4 left. No, I'm not a big fan of the stage, but it seems relatively. Oh, actually, no, there's some BS for that. Ignore that. I was going to say Skyward, but then I remembered that if you break certain bits of the floor, you can't grab the ledge. I hate Skyward.
Yeah. So why would you suggest it?
Because, like, if it wasn't for that weird ledge bullshit, it would be fine, wouldn't it?
It would be a fine stage with some interesting ideas about using the platforms to confine people almost. But
okay, well, Garden of Hope. Now I know it has the Aristocrab hazard, and I know it's very big, but
you know it can go back in time.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do, but that barely happened.
It's very rare, but it can go back in time.
You might have patched that. Yeah, like that's hard to explain. One time the Aristocrat basically teleported backwards, and you seem to remember him fucking my head.
I think that was actually in not the Politician Smackdown, but I think that was in like one of the Smackdowns. No, it was when we were training Amiibio.
That's it. Whatever happened, it was bull.
I know what happened. Final Smash freezes time, but it didn't freeze the Aristocrab, so he kept going. But afterwards, it reverted to the point in time where he was there, so he reverted to there and walked off again. That
was funny. But yeah, the reason I like it is just because, you know, like things like the pot and the stick can kind of get in the way a bit, but those platforms to make recoveries new and different, and also for some cheeky early kills. And just, you know, seeing a big stage that has some, you know, breakable items and some level variation. This one's one of my less kind of like solid ideas, or one that needs a bit more thought because there could be some problems. But I think you could see some very interesting kills with this stage just due to the nature of it.
Yep.
Can you imagine grabbing someone on that bottom thing and just dragging them with you?
True.
Get some full suicide kill. You got any others?
Luigi's Mansion.
Okay.
I mean, yes, a lot of it's breakable, but it's not like it's randomly breaking and stuff. It's actually got an element of, this is fixed damage, this is fixed amount. It's controlled.
The only thing I don't agree with that, but it's not a bad idea, is you know that physical ceiling at the bottom that you can break but that you won't necessarily? I just see that meaning that people could kind of camp under there and be safe from up smashes.
It could be safe from up smashes, but like I said, it's a lot more about control than it is about random cheapness.
Yeah, it seems like kind of an anti-projectile user stage because the projectiles get blocked by bits of the mansion quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it would make a good counter pick for, say, Samus or Villager, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know about the ceilings of a lot of the stages because people only really talk about the ceilings of stages that, what's it called? People are going to be used in tournaments because casual players are really going to, care about the ceiling and blast zone heights of stages. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be interesting. Pack no.
if you'd just gone pack line, I'd have been like.
I think I have two more. Maybe
okay.
Three.
Go on then.
Suzaku Castle. Now I know the problem is that it's got the on one side it has the attached floor to the edge, which could be a problem. However, I don't know, just something about the shape of it and just like it's just got it's flat, it's open. There's nothing too there's no areas that are too campy or that are like too unsafe, really. And there's some different platforms for some combos. They are static, which means that it's not too much of a dynamic stage. And I think this stage would be legal if the right-hand side wasn't attached to the blast zone.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't it otherwise?
True.
Especially this stage. It's got two places to recover to for left-hand side recovery, and you won't be recovering from the right-hand side in the same sense. So it would just be a nice, interesting neutral stage.
Yeah.
And I would also probably say, in fact, no, I think that stage is too ugly.
Well,
I say Peach's Castle, but
I may have one more.
Peach's Castle. Can we agree Peach's Castle? Like, I know they wanted to recreate it from the 64, but
It's ugly as fuck.
It's hideous. Like, why are there floating bits of the song?
It looks like a coding error. No offense.
Yeah, and Peach's Castle. Since when did Peach's Castle look like like, what the hell happened? Who designed it?
Bowser. Bowser just came in and flung the roof into the air. And that's the stage we got.
I can imagine this is what Waluigi would do.
Waluigi is the architect of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like
God, that explains why there's bricks everywhere made of toads.
It looks like Wreck-It Ralph took a shit on it. Basically, it's a cool stage in terms of actual gameplay, and it's got some interesting things, but I mean, it's like as a stage, it's like if the N64's Smash Bros 64 had a stage builder, and then someone made this, and they just stuck shit like put a bridge there, put a bumper off center to the side, really high up. Here's some trees, here's a moving platform, and here's some shitty triangles. Just to finish it off. Anyways, Scott, we'll finish up on yours, and then that'll be this video.
Okay, I'm gonna say one. If you don't like it, say pick something else because I do have a backup.
Okay. Well, you can say both.
Midgar. I know it's slightly more.
Midgar's good. It's got very the only problem, or the two.
The summons.
The summons. Some of them make things. Some of them are a bit too flashy and sometimes hard to see what's going on, and it might become a case of it's more about the summons than the gameplay.
Yeah.
However, actually, my main problem is, you know how it's got that neutral. Here's a stage that's kind of not attached to the bottom of the screen, just like that, and then it's got 2, 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like N64, just like Dreamland 64, just like Battlefield. In the tournament, banning Battlefield normally means you don't ban Dreamland 64, to my knowledge, which basically means that there's already kind of banning Battlefield allows you to do that. So putting in another stage with that layout basically means that there's so many stages of that nature that why is anyone ever going to ban it? Because they'll just choose the other one.
thing is, surely there's a way.
I mean, I guess you could rule it so that banning Battlefield banned 64 and Midgar. But at that point,
because I know Miiverse is counted. When you ban Battlefield, you ban Miiverse.
But maybe that one, maybe N64 is less like Miiverse than Miiverse. Miiverse might be more like Battlefield than Dreamland 64. But I feel
because Dreamland 64 has Wispy Woods there.
And also I think it's just kind of like more spread out with the side platforms, and there are some sort of. And of course ceiling heights and stuff might be different, but I just feel like we don't need more stages of that kind of neutral blah blah blah.
Okay.
So what's your final?
And the other slightly more insane one, the Kalos Pokemon League. And I know your reasoning for not
No. I've actually seen that used in a tournament.
Really?
Yes, I don't know if that was a very old rule set or a gentleman's rule, or if it was like a tournament that just allowed it for whatever reason. But it's very extreme. The metal, I think, just makes it kind of too pit matchy. The fire is a bit.
The fire's not bad. It's
the fire. I don't know. I find the fire would probably just kind of be a nuisance rather than an interesting hazard, like in say, Calvin. I honestly don't mind the dragon. That's the one that I'm like, yeah, that's cool for this sort of play. But I think we've had better ideas. However, I wouldn't be like, if someone's like, hey, we're adding this, I wouldn't be like, no.
You wouldn't be like, you wouldn't be there like, you motherfuckers, I quit.
I wouldn't be salty about it, like I would if they put in Great Cave Offensive. Or like Orbital Gate Assault. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Orbital Gate Assault.
Or even Pylos.
Field will kill you at like 20%.
Pylos there annoys me because it becomes more about Ridley than it does the fight. But yeah, I'd say overall, that's a valid stage. It's extreme, and there's other ones that could probably better come first. But from the very simple Suzaka Castle and Galaxy, we've gone to the very complex of Woohoo and Counts. So I think we've covered a lot. There's some good ideas, maybe some bad ideas. Probably never going to happen.
Some obviously shit ideas because this is one of our videos.
Well, no. Well.
Yes.
Keep the street language on the street, okay? Keep the fucking street language on the street. Anyway. There was a guy that told me that, and I was like, okay, sorry. It was just embarrassing for both of us. So yeah, we'll see you next time.